Charlie Delta Foxtrot, clearance.
Stand by. Go ahead for Charlie Delta Fox.
ATC clears Foxtrot, Charlie Delta Foxtrot to the Nanaimo Airport. A Lona 1 departure, flight plan route. Depart runway 27, squawk 0715.
Okay, I checked the Delta Fox is cleared to the Nanaimo Airport via the flight plan. The Lona 127. We checked 0715 on the squawk.
Charlie Delta Foxtrot, read back is correct, and the RV6 is airborne off 09, should just be passing you now. And the circuit traffic is crosswind, joining the early downwind.
Okay, sounds good. We'll be rolling here in about 30 seconds.
Charlie Delta Foxtrot, roger. Victor Oscar Tango, roger.
And Cam, let's check Charlie Delta Fox, go into position, rolling.
Charlie Delta Foxtrot, roger. Victor Delta, what is your position?
Silver Victor Delta, just over Bachelor at 3,800.
Silver Victor Delta, roger. Silver Victor Delta, is your transponder on?
I am transmitting mode Alpha today.
Roger, I'm just not picking anything up right now.
Okay, I'll put on the altitude, but it is going to be erroneous.
Roger, I'll let you know if when I pick you up. You might just be in the shadow of Peter and Paul still, but you should have you if you're 4,000 feet up there. Actually, got you now, and you can turn the altitude off again.
Yes, it's crossing 5,100, showing though 4,300.
Roger, that's what I see here as well. Charlie Delta Foxtrot, contact Vancouver Center, 132.35 now, have a good flight.
Good day, Delta Fox.
And to the Victor Delta, I've still got you now on mode A.
Okay, roger. One 267 traffic on the North Thompson RV6 Golf Zulu Victor Delta is just off Kamloops at 5,500 feet northbound for Wells Gray Park, and just about 2 or 3 miles to the southwest of the company. Zulu Victor Delta. Well, welcome aboard. It's another beautiful morning in the central BC. We're underneath a bit of a weak ridge of high pressure. So, got slightly hazy conditions out there. Some fair weather cumulus already starting to form up at before 10 a.m. Got Dun Peak right off the nose. I'm heading up the North Thompson River Valley up towards Wells Gray Provincial Park, and then turning westbound towards 100 Mile House. I'm not 100% convinced I'm landing there because it's such a short runway and wind is always a concern there. So once I get there, I'll assess what the wind is doing and hopefully I'll be able to land there. So the flight today up to Wells Gray over to 100 Mile and back is a total of 192 miles for a total of 1 hour and 15 minutes according to ForeFlight with calm winds. And trucking along here right now at 153 knots at 5,500, I would agree that the wind is probably calm. ForeFlight says I'm going to use 11.7 gallons of gas, but that doesn't count going into 100 Mile House. So we'll see how the fuel happens, but should have plenty. I just topped off the tanks before I left. So here I am with my latest 4K video. I've been getting a lot of positive response to the 4K. I've also been getting some requests to fly up the North Thompson. I did do it last year, but with older, not so good cameras. So I'm redoing this flight up to Wells Gray, and instead of the last time I did this, I flew over the coastal volcano cone over to Blue River, down Adams Lake, and then back home. So instead, when I get to Helmcken Falls, I'll be turning westbound towards 108 Mile. I don't think I'm going to be low enough to get much of a view of the falls, but we'll see what happens. Thanks once again to everybody for subscribing, viewing, liking, commenting. If you haven't already done so, please do. A little bit of a rough start there this morning. I didn't have near as much fuel as I thought I did, and I had enough to complete the flight, but not quite. No point in leaving with air in the tanks. How about that? So I decided to top off the tanks before I left. My encoder is misreading by almost 1,000 feet, so I've got that to deal with. So I'm just doing mode A here today, and when the FSS asked me which runway I wanted to use, I said runway 27, sure, and then I taxied for the wrong direction. So, bad things happen in threes, right? 1267 traffic in the North Thompson River Valley, RV6 Golf. Zulu Victor Delta is at 5,500 feet. Northbound, just over Little Fort. Northbound towards Clearwater into Wells Gray Park. Golf Zulu Victor Delta. Just coming up here on the left, I'll just bank in a little bit towards it. This mountain just out in front of me here is called Grizzly Mountain. And the last time I flew up here, Grizzly Mountain had a forest fire on it. So I radioed it into Pacific Radio, and it was the first report they had of it. So I was quite pleased that I was able to contribute to the firefighting effort in some small way. But it's so close to Clearwater, which is just underneath the nose here right now. I couldn't imagine that it hadn't been reported. So it just goes to prove that you're much better off reporting it than not reporting it and hoping for the best that somebody has already done it. So as much as I would love to get a nice 4K view of the Helmcken Falls, I'm going to start a slow climb here now, just to get some altitude. Wells Gray is not exactly airplane friendly, so an extra couple of thousand feet would make me a little more comfy.
Area, first at 911 near 350. We are 30 miles to the southeast of Anaheim Lake, descending out of 15,000 feet, climbing straight in runway 31, landing Anaheim Lake at 8 minutes, 27 first at 911.
So I'm going to change fuel tanks before entering the park. Fuel pump is on. And fuel selector to the left tank. Wait for a moment, make sure nothing bad happens. And then fuel pump off. One 267 traffic vicinity of Clearwater. RV6 Golf Zulu Victor Delta is over Clearwater, climbing to 7,500 feet northbound for Helmcken Falls, and then turning west for 100 Mile House. Golf Zulu Victor Delta. Just a beautiful area here. If you've not been through Wells Gray Provincial Park, you really should. There's a ton of waterfalls in the park. Most of them are an easy trek from car parks, car parking lots, whatever you want to call them. Just beautiful, beautiful place. And if you get to fly around here, wow. Oh, no big surprise with this terrain, just starting to get a few little tiny bumps here now. Probably going to get much worse as the day goes on. I'm just attending a little bit here now and see if I can get a good view of the falls. Traffic, vicinity of Helmcken Falls, RV6 Golf, Zulu Victor Delta is descending, just leveling off at 6,500 feet over the falls, doing one orbit and then proceeding westbound over Hood Lake. Alright, let's see if I can catch him on the camera. Hoping the battery is still running.
Traffic vicinity of Echo Valley, Super Cub Fox, Echo Lima Zulu. 2 miles to the east, 9,500. We're transiting southeastbound. Echo Lima Zulu.
So just coming up here now on the right wing. There it is. As I was saying, it's such a beautiful park. You really should try to get up here if you haven't. That waterfall is not a 5-minute walk from the parking lot. That's for lazy hikers like me. Alright, so coming up on the right wing now is Mahood Lake. And then I'll be going just to the south of Cannon Lake. And 100 Mile House is 46 miles from here. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it turns out somewhat decent. I don't have a lot of hope that the batteries are going to last until 100 Mile House. We're still about 18 minutes away or so. And the batteries have been running now for about 45 minutes. So at 4K, I don't think I'm going to be able to capture a full hour. But we'll see what happens. Red light is still blinking. Alright, so on to one of my favorite destinations, and I'll show you why when I get there. 100 Mile House is, I wouldn't even call it walking distance to town, it's in town. And lots of good restaurants right at the very end of the runway, like a 2-minute walk, if that. The only but about 100 Mile House is that it's a 2,200 foot runway at 3,000 feet above sea level. If the wind is not perfect, it can be a bit of a white knuckle experience getting out of there. The runway is an uphill runway heading towards town and a downhill runway going away from town. So it's a bit of a one-way in, one-way out, especially with I think it's a 21 or 2,200 foot hill right at the other side of town. So if you're taking off uphill towards town, you've got some terrain issues to worry about. So when the wind is perfect, you land going uphill towards town, and you take off away from town going downhill. So hopefully the wind is going to cooperate today. And the temperature outside today, we're getting close, I believe, to about 20 degrees Celsius. So the density altitude may be a factor. So the frequency is 123.2. I'll start listening to see if there's anybody around there. Find out which runway is in use.
Final traffic, Cessna 172 Golf Uniform Alpha Echo, currently climbing through 4,700 feet, clear of the zone to the southeast. Have yourselves a wonderful afternoon. .126.7 traffic, Cessna 172 Golf Uniform Alpha Echo, currently 4,800 feet. Just over the town of 100 Mile House, going to be traveling southeast bound for Penticton, cruising at 9,500. Currently just climbing through 5,000. Any conflicting, please advise. Golf Uniform Alpha Echo, 126.7 traffic.
And Uniform Alpha Echo, it's Golf Zulu Victor Delta. You just came off 108 mile, was it?
Affirmative.
And what was the wind doing there?
Winds are calm.
Perfect. Going to 100 miles, so the wind almost has to be calm.
I could say that it's probably correct there.
Well, that's good news.
Traffic in the vicinity of Clinton, Super Cub Fox Echo Lima Zulu, 9,500, transiting southeastbound. That's Fox Echo Lima Zulu.
Traffic vicinity of 100 mile house. RV6 Golf Zulu Victor Delta is 20 miles to the east of 100 mile house, inbound for full stop landing, 6,500 feet.
Yeah, permanent traffic. Caution, two jumpers away, permanent traffic.
$100 mile house traffic, RV6 Golf Zulu Victor Delta is 5 miles to the east. And just crossing east of town, going to cross the field from south to north for a wind check, anticipating left-hand runway 08, Golf Zulu Victor Delta. $100 mile house traffic, RV6 Golf Zulu Victor Delta is overhead the field, turning left downwind at runway 08, full stop. 100 mile house traffic, RV6 Golf Zulu Victor Delta is on the runway, taxiing for the apron. And Zulu Victor Delta is clear of the active.
Alright, so welcome to 100 Mile House. And here's the reason why I really like coming here. Well, there's a couple of reasons. I'm all about the $100 hamburgers, and I'll show you where I like to go just over here. It's a very short runway. It's at slightly higher elevation than I'm used to. It's about 2,000 feet higher. And it's 2,200 feet long, where I'm used to an 8,000 foot runway. So it keeps you on your toes. It's a wonky approach, but it's doable. And because the wind is calm, I'll be able to do what I was talking about in the air, land uphill towards town, and then I'll depart downhill away from town. But what makes 100 miles so good for me is right there. So the runway is just to the right of that windsock up there, about 300 feet away. I'm parked right here, and now you're literally, or not literally, you're almost right on top of the highway. And I'll show you some of the places out here when I get out to the highway. So since I'm all about the food, here's the highway. I'm only, I don't know, 200 feet from the edge of the airfield. And just looking around here, we've got a Subway, there's a grocery store, Smitty's has a really good breakfast. I've been there a couple of times. We've got a pub and grill right across the highway. And my favorite place right here, GBR, Gourmet Burger Rednecks. There's a pizza place right next door that I've never been. And then just further down the highway, there's a couple other places to eat. So it's a very easy place to fly into and go grab a bite with lots of choices.